Let us get started. We will. Sanjay can probably watch it from the YouTube in case he's not able to join. So good. So upfront, I'm just clarifying. You may be wondering why I don't even have anything here. No Vibhuti or Chandanam today. It is Amavasya here in the US. So I'm yet to do my Tarpana. So technically, I'm not supposed to put it until the Tarpanam is done. So having said that, let's jump straight into it. I'll make sure that the Dhyana Shlokas audio and video are uploaded or shared. Om Ganana Tva Ganapatikam Avamahe Kavim Kabinam Upamashravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspada Shinvanodipasi Sadanam Mahaganapataye Namaha Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Bhirvajinivati Dhinam Avitrevatu Mahasaraswatye Namaha Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha गुरुवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः देवीं वाचमजनयन्त देवाः तां विश्वरूपा पशवो वदन्ति सा नो मन्दिरेषु मूर्जन्तुहाना धेनुर्वागस्मानुपतिष्ठितैतु व्यासं वदिष्ठनप्तारं शक्ते पौत्रमकल्मषं पराशरात्मजं वन्दे शुकदातं तपोनिधिं व्यासाय विष्णुरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः शिवशक्तिसमारम्भां भास्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मश्रीनाथपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः So we'll start from Vishnu Sahasranamam, Shloka 106. Atmayo nisvayam jato vaikhanas samagayanah Atmayo nisvayam jato vaikhanas samagayanah देवकीनन्दनस्त्रष्टा क्षितीशः पापनाशनः देवकीनन्दनस्रष्टा क्षितीशः पापनाशनः शङ्खबृन्नन्दकीचक्री शार्ङ्गधन्वागदाधरः शङ्खबृन्नन्दकीचक्री शार्ङ्गधन्वागदाधरः रथाङ्गपाणिरक्षोभ्यः सर्वप्रहरणायुधः रथाङ्गपाणिरक्षोभ्यः सर्वप्रहरणायुधः सर्वप्रहरणायुध ॐ नम इति सर्वप्रहरणायुध ॐ नम इति वनमाली गदीशाङ्गी शङ्खी चक्री च नन्दकी वनमाली गदीशाङ्गी शङ्खी चक्री च नन्दकी श्रीमान्नारायणो विष्णुर्वासुदेवोऽभिरक्षतु श्रीमान्नारायणो विष्णुर्वासुदेवोऽभिरक्षतु. Here, if you see, I want to make a comment. The Akshara Shuddhi is very, very important. Shankhabhran, Shankhabhrannandaki, Chakri, Kri is Dhirgam. So, Sarva Praharana Yudha, Yudha. Same way. Vishnur Vasudevo, there is Avagraha after Vo. Bhirakshatu, Bhi is hard, Rakshatu. And the Shloka 108 is typically chanted 3 times. So if you want, you can mark. For those who are familiar with Vishnu Sahasranamam, they know it. But if you are not, then this is repeated 3 times. And I'll ask a question about it, why we do 3 times later. Shri Vasudevo Bhirakshatu Om Nama Iti Itidam Kirtaniyasya Keshavasya Mahatmanah इतीदं कीर्तनीयस्य केशवस्य महात्मनः नाम्नां सहस्रं दिव्यानामशेषेण प्रकीर्तितम् नाम्नां सहस्रं दिव्यानामशेषेण प्रकीर्तितम्. She is hard. She after that following that is soft. Divya Nama She Shena. So she has to be practiced over and over again for you to flip that quickly. Ya idam shrunuyan nityam yaschapi parikirtayet. Ya idam shrunuyan nityam yaschapi parikirtayet. नाशुभं प्राप्नुयात् किञ्चित् सोमुत्रेह च मानवः. After so there is avagraha. नाशुभं प्राप्नुयात् किञ्चित् सोमुत्रेह च मानवः. वेदान्तगो ब्राह्मणस्यात् क्षत्रियो विजयी भवेत्. वेदान्तगो ब्राह्मणस्यात् क्षत्रियो विजयी भवेत्. वैश्यो धनसमृद्धस्याच् क्षूद्रः सुखमवाप्नुयात्. वैश्यो धनसमृद्धस्याच् क्षूद्रः सुखमवाप्नुयात्. धर्मार्थी प्राप्नुयात् धर्ममर्थार्थी चार्थमाप्नुयात्. धर्मार्थी प्राप्नुयात् धर्ममर्थार्थी चार्थमाप्नुयात्. One more time. धर्मार्थी प्राप्नुयात् धर्ममर्थार्थी चार्थमाप्नुयात्. Plenty of the. So akshara shuddhi is again important. कामानवाप्नुयात् कामी प्रजार्थी प्राप्नुयात् प्रजाम्. कामानवाप्नुयात् कामी प्रजार्थी प्राप्नुयात् प्रजाम्. भक्तिमान् यः सदोत्थाय शुचिस्तद्गतमानसः. भक्तिमान् यः सदोत्थाय शुचिस्तद्गतमानसः. सहस्रं वासुदेवस्य नाम्नामेतत् प्रकीर्तयेत्. सहस्रं वासुदेवस्य नाम्नामेतत् प्रकीर्तयेत्. यशः प्राप्नोति विपुलं ज्ञातिप्राधान्यमेव च. यशः प्राप्नोति विपुलं ज्ञातिप्राधान्यमेव च. अचलां श्रियमाप्नोति श्रेयः प्राप्नोत्यनुत्तमम्. अचलां श्रियमाप्नोति श्रेयः प्राप्नोत्यनुत्तमम्. न भयं क्वचिदाप्नोति वीर्यं तेजश्च विन्दति. न भयं क्वचिदाप्नोति वीर्यं तेजश्च विन्दति. भवत्यरोगो द्युतिमान् बलरूपगुणान्वितः. भवत्यरोगो द्युतिमान् बलरूपगुणान्वितः. रोगार्तो मुच्यते रोगात् बद्धो मुच्येत बन्धनात्. रोगार्तो मुच्यते रोगात् बद्धो मुच्येत बन्धनात्. भयान्मुच्येत भीतस्तु मुच्येतापन्न आपदः. भयान्मुच्येत भीतस्तु मुच्येतापन्न आपदः दुर्गाण्यतितरत्याशु पुरुषः पुरुषोत्तमम् दुर्गाण्यतितरत्याशु पुरुषः पुरुषोत्तमम् स्तुवन्नाम सहस्रेण नित्यं भक्तिसमन्वितः स्तुवन्नाम सहस्रेण नित्यं भक्तिसमन्वितः वासुदेवाश्रयो मर्त्यो वासुदेवपरायणः वासुदेवाश्रयो मर्त्यो वासुदेवपरायणः सर्वपापविशुद्धात्मा याति ब्रह्मसनातनम् सर्वपापविशुद्धात्मा याति brahmasanatanam. So we will stop here. Now let us make Vishnu Sahasranamam also a little bit interesting. Right? So if you have paper and pen, you can note it down. Try to do some homework. Usha, mute paniko. Whatever you speak will go on YouTube. So first we said Sarva Praharanayudha Om Nama Iti. So you will see that there is a iti there. There is a iti after the shloka number 108. So what is the meaning of iti? When and how it is used? Right? Then shloka number 3 after that, it clearly describes the varnas. Vedantago brahmanas yat kshatriyo vijayi bhavet vaishyo dhana samruddhasyach chudras sukhamavapnuyat. For clear description. Was she giving an indication to us?
Just one minute. I have a visitor, so I'm just
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. So, what are those 4 names that is being described there, and what is it that is being talked about in the shloka? Try to do some homework on that.
The Varnas.
Yeah, but what is it? Try to do the homework and tell me in a clear terms. This is what it means in the shloka, and this is what the varna is meant for. Because it's very interesting that it has a mention in Vishnu Sahasranam. Then we'll go into a little bit more into detail. And then the last word is Sanatanam. So we are all Sanatanis. So we are very proudly, we keep saying we are Sanatanis. So find out what is the meaning of Sanatanam. Yeah. I'm not getting into the meaning of Vishnu Sahasranamam right now because most of the people know Vishnu Sahasranamam, but if required, we will just have one half an hour dedicated for a very high level wrap up of the summary of what Vishnu Sahasranamam says in one of the sessions later. So the purpose of saying certain things 3 times. Does anybody have an idea as to why we do that?
Also, it is just to emphasize the importance of it.
Which means we do that emphasis in many different ways. Right? We do the emphasis by, hey, please pay attention to what I'm saying. or we raise our voice thinking that we'll be heard. So why the choice of saying it 3 times?
Is it that one like which affects the adhyatmic, adibautic, and adilokik? So the one that affects you, your environment, and external factors
Correct.
which are not under your control.
Correct.
Okay, similar to Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Yes. Anything that you say 3 times. And if you really see, there are several places, not everywhere, there are several places where that emphasis is laid out by saying it 3 times. And I will add one more to it, which is my own interpretation. It could be acceptable or may not be acceptable to many other people. And that is, one, you repeat it 3 times for the other person to hear it. You also repeat it 3 times for your own self to make sure that you say it in the right way. Because if I want to be heard, I want to be heard right. So there is a possibility that I would have said something, I would have committed a mistake. No matter how many years you practice certain things, there is always a scope for making a mistake, either because you momentary lapse of concentration or whatever it is. You could have committed a mistake, but there are certain things that you don't want that mistake to be committed. So you also repeat it 3 times for your own sake. So try to do some research on that. And we'll take it from there. So last time I had given a very simple homework based on the question that Radha had asked. Is anybody successful in?
Actually, I was trying to find out what the question was also. I forgot about the question.
That means you're not going back to the YouTube. That's why YouTube is there. So she asked whether after you pass away from this world, and you said you're traveling to the different lokas, are you expected to perform homa in the other lokas also? Because we were establishing the fact that Agni is very important for us, and through the consistent, without fail performance of those rituals over and over again without mistakes is essential for you to be able to travel in the right direction to the other lokas. That was the context in which that question was asked. So I said there is a clue in the previous mantras that we learned on one of the things, a key word that tells you why you are supposed to do all these things. And idea of making you do the homework was that you will go through all the mantras one more time and it will give you a revision also. And if you didn't find the answer, maybe you would go and watch the YouTube again. No idea?
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead. You should never be worried about a wrong answer.
No, I was just going through all the, shloka, mantra, and one place where, I my own interpretation of whatever I asked and subsequently what I understood while reading is, reading means while going through the video and other things. One is, it says that if one does not perform whatever is supposed to be done in the right way, and in the particular time that it is supposed to be done, then it says if it is not done, then there is no way you can reach the Saptaloka.
Correct.
So maybe the person is born here again and again and again, so there is no way that he ever reaches the other worlds.
Correct.
This is what I actually, this is actually the third one where it says the 7 worlds are not attainable.
Correct.
It is not.
Hmm.
So obviously, then when you don't go up or down or whatever, just there is no question of snake and ladder, and there is no question of whether it will be performed in other worlds. So I assume we shall continue to be taking birth again and again and again.
No, also, your question was assume that you did everything right in this world, in this birth, in this world,
Yes.
in the Bhuloka,
Yes.
and you are able to go progress. You are getting promoted.
Yes.
So we all don't know what form and shape will be, and when we say it's only the soul that goes forward, the body is destroyed here itself. Then are we expected to perform Homa and other lokas? And if so, how will we do it without that body? That was a hidden sort of a part of the question.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
So one other thing I wanted to draw your attention is the answer lies in the one of the other mantras. And the other mantras is, if you want to know or learn thing, that is the question with which Mundaka Upanishad started. Shaunaka asked Angirasa, sage Angirasa, and saying, what is it that I have to learn to know everything?
Yes.
For that, he gave the answer in 2 parts. He said Paravidya and Aparavidya. But why did he not start with the Aparavidya straight away? He said, for understanding, you have to develop your abilities to understand Aparavidya, the lower knowledge, and which is the Aparavidya. Then only you can enable yourself to know the Paravidya, which is the higher level knowledge.
Yeah.
And that is where your process of saying, as I said, there are different ways to attain God or get into the path of elevating yourself, like Tarpana, Archana, Homa, etc., of which we said Agni is the most important, because whatever oblations or Ahuti you give, it reaches the God without any dilution or without any delay. It is considered the most fastest method, means, and the pure form of courier. Yes, that's a good word. And hence you do this. So when you are doing everything here, you are the process of doing all of these Archana, Homa, etc., is to slowly energize yourself to get rid of the fleeting or ephemeral nature of what is around you. You're so attracted to the iPhone, you're so attracted to the IPL, you're so attracted to so many things. All of these things are required to get you out of the clutches of those things, where you start distancing yourself from the worldly matters. That is the first essential requirement for you even to understand what is there in the higher level knowledge. So Vairagya is a very close word that you can define it to. But Vairagya is actually sort of a final destination, I would say. And Vairagya, contrary, I'm thankful to you for bringing that word up. Many people say, "Oh, I do upavas. I don't wear gold. I don't eat this. I don't do that." That is not Vairagya. That is just a kindergarten or nursery level effort to reach Vairagya. Vairagya is not just the physical pleasures. It's also mental. And the mind is the toughest thing for us to learn and understand and keep under control. It takes years and years, because it is so used to going this way or that way in a split second. So when people say Vairagya, means absolutely neutral, emotionless, like you have got no attachment to take sides one way or the other. You don't see bhed bhav in anything.
Yeah.
You will see like four varnas, you will see everybody as equal. Young and old, you'll see as equal. Poor and rich, you'll see as equal. So it requires a lot of tapas. Tapas is the key word. And that tapas means you do that hard grinding efforts, physical and mental. So both are required for you to even think of saying that you are attaining that status. So that vairagya status indirectly is defined as saying uh, like sannyasa.
Yeah.
Got it? So the progress in simple words, these are all subjects that you can actually, each of these topic deserves nearly about an hour, 2 hours of explanation. I'm just giving you the layman's setup for you to just understand what is required. Point is, the energy that I talked about, Kundalini, you need to raise the Kundalini energy for you to be able to build yourself up for the higher level knowledge. Because to put it in blunt words, let me put it like this. Today we are coming into this world and we are taught right from kindergarten, oh, you are a boy, you are a girl. This learning starts from there. The world is split into two vertical, and we live continuously all our life on a world full of physical attributes, number one. Second, you're then told a whole set of rules, and without any ill intent for any gender, I use the term Patima Sutram for a reason, not to demean women or anything, but purpose is there is Bodhayana Sutram or Apastama Sutram, etc., that which from the sages have written it and given it to you in terms of how to live your life and what to do, when to do, how to do the homa, how to do the puja, etc. But there is one sutra that is there which is written by a community that has never gone to a Veda Patashala or learnt Vedas, and that is Patima. Patima in Sonalji in Tamil is grandma. So you will oftentimes you will see people saying, "Oh, my grandma said this. My grandma told me this." So you live your life based on what that legacy knowledge is percolated through the grandma. It doesn't mean only grandma. It includes grandfather and everybody else, but centric is grandma. Once a grandma says, you really feel scared to break it. Whereas you should never be scared of quest for knowledge. You must be in search of that knowledge and truth yourself. Each person has to do for themselves in their own life. You can't do it for your son, daughter, or husband, and vice versa. So if in that quest for knowledge you learn certain things that goes contrary to what your grandma has set up for you, you must have that mental maturity to say, oh, is this the truth? That is point number one. Point number two, I'm trying to set the context without trying to be too philosophical here. So you can ask, so what is the big deal? I mean, so it's always good to know the truth, right? It's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. You need to have that mental maturity and development to even appreciate that when you come to know the truth, are you aware of how your system is going to react? Correct? Now, I just want to give a taste of it with one example so that you can start putting these key rules in place as to why search for truth and the reality is so important in everyone's life, and how it is important to prepare yourself before you search for truth. I'll give two lines. Don't be in pursuit of knowledge if you are not ready for it. Right? All these years you lived your life without even knowing about Mundaka Upanishad. Today, through Mundaka Upanishad, you are learning a ton of things. it is not going to be easy to say, oh, till now I thought this is day. Now I realize that this is called night. Okay, so I'm prepared to accept it. It's not that easy. If your entire life is based on this rule that this is day because it is daylight here, and suddenly you come to know that that is the night, your mind will start going reverse in analyzing all your past life this till this date. So, have I been living a false life all these years? Did I do that wrong? Did I do this wrong? Am I a sinner? How am I going to rectify it? The mind races to ask another 1 million questions, even though you are aware that you can't go back and correct anything in what you've been doing so far. But you can't control your mind. So, it is important that before you set out for pursuit of knowledge or ask people to say, tell me what this is, are you ready to deal with the additional information? Number one, is it a must? If it is a must, you have to prepare yourself. If it is not a must, avoid knowledge. It's also a very good tool to avoid gossip. Let's say your neighbors, you think of them very highly. All of a sudden, you know something about them that disturbs you. Wouldn't you be better off that you didn't know about them? So I always say this: when you are in chase of knowledge and pursuit of knowledge, first prepare yourself that I must have the guts and the courage and the mental preparation to receive that knowledge. Number one. Second, when you're in pursuit of knowledge, make sure that your source of knowledge is very, very authenticated. So, can anybody say what is that mechanism in our system which ensures that authentication? One word.
The Guru Shishya Parampara.
Perfect. Spot on. Why? We are moving into a world of artificial intelligence and chat GPT. You just type Mundaka Upanishad in chat GPT, it will give you the entire meaning in one shot. So easy, right? If you follow the developments and the press conferences and the information that those CEOs themselves talk about, you will understand the risk associated with such tools. It gives you instant results. Are you searching knowledge for instant results? No. Let it be a painful process, but you want the authentic information thrown at you. The chat GPT is a bunch of code written by humans who are trying to replicate the human brain in a certain fraction of the capabilities of the brain. So it can only go thus far. So if you don't have the means to validate what the result, the search is showing back to you, you would rather not take it at face value and live a life based on that. Google's stock prices crashed on the day they launched a demo of their ChatGPT equivalent because it gave results that were bizarre. And if you have to pause in each of those words when I'm saying this, oh, so good, no. So if you know it is bizarre, then you will not accept it. The question is pause and ask the question. It was so dumb that a human brain could say it was bizarre because somebody with the knowledge about the topic could figure out that what it is throwing is bizarre. Imagine your child which is learning about it for the first time. Does it have the knowledge to know whether the result is bizarre or accurate? So these are the intricacies that we need to be aware of. No matter what development in technology happens, you cannot move away from the human intelligence and human inputs. And you can do research in terms of right from Satya Yuga to Treta Yuga to Dwapara Yuga to Kali Yuga, how there has been a significant degradation in our capabilities, mental capabilities. All of these iPhone discoveries, everything is in the right direction for Kali Yuga to end. But in your Janma, in your life, can you do something better? So Guru Parampara is very, very important. And it starts with that fact that it is easier to say Guru Parampara and then you say, oh, no, my Guru said this, but it is not correct. So you start doing the next worst thing is selective absorption. Whatever he or she said, I accept these things because it falls in line with my Patima Sutram. These things I can never accept because no, how can I? I mean, I've been living a life like this. Then you are not fit enough for higher level knowledge. And I'm saying this because on record on YouTube, because ever since I started learning one part of the thing with Padmaja knows, that topic requires guts for you to explore and understand the reality as it is. Only then I entered it. It took me many years to even decide that yes, I'm going to learn that Vidya. But once I decided, I'm into it. I'm just accepting as it is. And I'm willing to make those corrections, including what I talked about the Gange, Chemuni, Godavari, Saraswati, Narmade, Sindhu, Kaveri. I've been doing it for many years. But if somebody comes and presents you certain facts, it is important for you to say, I will receive it, do the due diligence, and make sure that I correct myself if I need to. You should not be afraid of corrections. Right? So the importance of detaching yourself from the worldly matters is the key. So you do all this mantra japas, everything to raise your energy. Somebody asked me yesterday in the Devi Matyam class. So when we do mantra japa, we will start seeing some things that are scary. It means you are not prepared. However, if you start getting into that path with preparation, that I am prepared to accept the truth as it unfolds, there is nothing scary. Because it is new knowledge or correct knowledge, better knowledge or improved knowledge that you are getting it. And you started the process only because you realize the importance of that in your life. Correct? So it doesn't mean Patimas are bad. Patimas are doing their job. So they gave you gyan and everything at the time when you needed them because you were not capable of going in pursuit of truth at the age of 5 or 6 or 10. So point is, each of the knowledge that has been given to you, they were valid for that period of your life. So as you grow older and older, when your mind develops and you learn newer things, that new knowledge should put you into the path of preparing yourself for the next level knowledge, which is in one of the mantra I gave example of spiral. It is like stock market. You take 10 rupees, you invest in a stock, whatever profit you get, you put it back into the stock. That is how you can grow. But it has to be a forward looking growth. You can't go back and forth. And second, I always say that the letter G, the guilt feeling, has to be parked outside when you're in pursuit of knowledge. Because anything that you have been doing wrong because of ignorance is not a sin. And in our system, anything that you commit as a sin, also there are rules for doing prayashchittam. Prayashchittam means, again, it comes back. Chitta means consciousness. So as long as you purify that consciousness, you're good to go. Right? So that is the crux. The worldly matters or sort of sacrificing all of those things. And if you want more sort of in-depth understanding of this, read about Ramana Maharshi. Phenomenal example. And Padmaja, you also know in one of the Upanishads, our Guru has explained, the opening line says, I don't need Veda, I don't need this, I don't need that, right? So if you read that first before doing everything else, you will say, oh, Kumar was saying Veda is so important, rituals are so important, lower knowledge, higher knowledge. So all that is crap. No, actually you are picking up a postdoctorate level information and reading it when you are in kindergarten. That is meant for people who have gone close to the destination through years of sacrifice. For them, they don't need any of these things. They are beyond all that. For example, when you get into sannyashrama, the first thing that you remove is your punal. They don't have yati dharma. They don't follow our dharma. Yati dharma is a separate dharma. which incidentally is written by one of our Paramagurus. I hope you're aware of it, right? Padmaja? Swamigal's Guru is the one who wrote Yati Dharma. Until then, there was no codification of life for sannyasis. They don't have to do Nityanushtana. They have crossed that stage. They don't need to do those things. There is no Shraddham, Tarpanam, none of those things for that. That is progress. Make sense? So I've given a lot of tips for you to sit and introspect and understand. And it's never too late to sit down and say, okay, now at least I am exposed to certain things. Let me make the full use of it, assuming that we are all going to live for another 40 years. Those who are 60, those who are plus minus, you can do your arithmetic right there. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So,
Let me ask a basic. It's a basic question, and it's my ignorance, of course. But is it true that Kundalini is not mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita?
I will refrain from answering the question because I don't consider myself as an expert of that. But I can check with people and get back to you.
Okay.
We have our own friends who teach Bhagavad Gita. So they have focused in doing research on that. So
Because
I can ask.
Yeah. The reason I'm asking is because I'm always curious about Sri Vidya. What like when you've been mentioning it, and like I don't think I'm ready. Obviously, I'm not qualified for it, but I'm just so curious about it. So when does one become ready? When, like, through what Gyan stages can one be ready to learn about that?
I can answer the question once we finish this class. I'll put the YouTube away. I will answer your question right away. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Because there again, I would say take my inputs with a pinch of salt, because I'm not at a level of an expert to say yes, this is exactly what it is. I've done a lot of reading research because it is of interest to me. It is of relevance to me in my life today. But I need more dimensions. I need more research and hard work to make sure that what I know is what I know is correct. And I'll explain why when I come to the explanation part of it. Okay, so let's get to the mantra. We stopped at mantra number 6, right? So let's go to mantra number 7. Plavahyete adrudha yajna rupa ashta dashoktama yeshu karma etach shreyo yebhinandanti मूढ़ा जरा मृत्युम ते पुनरेवापि यन्ति. प्लवाह्येते अदृढ़ा यज्ञरूपा अष्टादशोक्तमवरं येषु कर्म एतच्छ्रेयो येऽभिनन्दन्ति मूढ़ा जरा मृत्युम ते पुनरेवापि यन्ति. Ete means these. Ete hi is in a very assured fashion. Ashtadasha, 18-fold. Ashta means 8, dasha means 10. So Ashtadasha means 18-fold. Yajna Rupaha, which means is referring to the Yajna. And I hope all of you are aware of the difference between Yajna and Homa. We talked about it in one of the sessions. Plavaha means raft. Adridhaha, infirm. Yepu, in which. avaram, the inferior, karma, work, uktam is told, ye, which mudhaha means ignorant or the unwise. Etat, as we know, is this. Shreyaha is supreme good. Iti abhinandanti, cry with joy. Te means they. Punaha, again. Eva, indeed. Jara mrityam, old age and death. Apiyanti, get. So, if you consider the 18-fold yajna, we'll come to that, what is the 18-fold, etc. later. But for the moment, you take that as a base. 18-fold yajna. There are references to inferior works. Again, we'll come to what is inferior works a little later. You will understand that this raft is frail. Right? People who are ignorant and praise the inferior works as supreme God will get old age and death again and again. I will not go into the in-depth meaning and translation of the last word, last piece that I mentioned. It is again a very perfect example of how we, based on how we have lived our life thus far, get biased even in our pursuit of learning. So moment you use the word, oh, get old age and death again and again. So the question is, oh, if you die once, then it is done. No, what is death again and again? So think of a moment. In Hindi, there is a saying, for those who all understand Hindi, because they're all from Mumbai and you understand Hindi, Jeete ji marte hai is a very important saying. Very normal, right? You have heard of all this. What is the meaning of that? You are as good as dead while you think that you're alive. So being alive is not a state to say I can breathe, I can walk, I can, like, my brain is working and my heart is pumping blood. It is more than that. And whenever you are in pursuit of these knowledge, which is essential for you, this is the preparation you need to make to say, okay, let me take a pause. Let me absorb the piece of thing that I've heard just now. Let me introspect and let me develop that into a 360 view of the topic. The moment you put chains, shackles, and saying, oh, no, I'm not going to accept that, because if I accept that, then either I'll be proved wrong all my life, or I'm a sinner, or I have to face my children and tell them that I didn't know anything till this date, and they're going to stop. If you have those conditions, then you're not fit for any kind of additional new knowledge in your life. So my own example, I've kept it very simple. It doesn't matter whether somebody calls me Guruji or somebody calls me Kumar or any other term. It doesn't matter whether the person who is speaking with me is 10 years older to me, 20 years older to me, or 50 years younger to me. As long as the person speaks a good fact which helps me stand corrected, that knowledge is important to me. And it is very simple to say, I stand corrected. You will never have the burden, ever. So if that is my image with everybody around me or who interacts with me, think of it. Where should it bother you about your status or your willingness to correct yourself? That goes away in a split second. So these are the cobwebs that you need to start clearing, because those pressure points are built by you based on your choice in life. You can keep blaming everybody else. No, it is because of him, her, neighbor, tata, party, or grandma, grandpa. No, it's all because of your choices. So if you made a choice to keep it on you, it's also your choice to let it go. There should not be any fear if the goal is pursuit of knowledge for yourself. If the goal is you're trying to learn a few more terms to show off your knowledge or to show how great you are, then you are in the wrong path, in the wrong place. Right? So this is another example. Get old age and death again and again. So when you talk of 18-fold yajna, it is referencing it is referencing yajna that is performed with the help of 16 priests. 1-6. Then who are the two additional to make it 18? See how grueling it is to gain knowledge, right? And we think we read a book and I am knowledgeable. I do Google and internet, I'm knowledgeable. I watched a YouTube, I'm knowledgeable. Right? So again, a very important tip. When you are in pursuit of knowledge, slow down. There is no shortcut. There is no crash course that will say, okay, yeah, I don't have so much time for 2 years of learning Mundaka Upanishat. Tell me in 2 classes. Can you? Then I'll learn from you. Otherwise, I'll go to somebody else. Otherwise, there is always YouTube. Of course, you have YouTube. Get me one YouTube that will give you all these explanations in one session. Even if you get, it cannot replicate what we are doing right now. An interactive conversation that makes you think. So, means of acquiring knowledge by reading, listening, they all have their own purpose in life. There are things that you can read and learn. There are things that you have to listen and learn. There are things that you have to observe and learn. So that is why there are 5 senses. Otherwise, God would have said no ears, only reading, or no ears and eyes, only talking. It doesn't work like that. So who are the 2 other people to make it 18? The Yajamana and Yajamana's wife. Because there is no Havan without the Yajamana and Yajamana's wife. And I gave a brief reference. You have Yajamana, Yajamana's wife. Without the wife, the Yajamana cannot perform the Homa. So there is always a Yajamana that takes the Sankalpam and sets the boundaries and scope, etc. to do it. There is a Brahma for a witness. There is the Vishvedeva courier. Address, destination is very clear. Rudraya Namaha. Rudraya Namah Swaha. Very clear. Name, destination is all written. And then there is another homework that you can do. Why do people say Rudraya Idam Namama? What is the meaning of Idam Namama? You'll see that again and again, if you pay attention to any Homa.
Nothing is mine, no? Whatever is there, I offer to you.
Correct. And see how beautiful that system is. Anything you take, even daily Sandhya Vandanam we do. You do Devi Mate Parayanam. Last important thing is Samarpanam. Kayena vacha manasendriyeva buddhyatmanava prakrite subhavat karomi yadyat sakalam parasme Sriman Narayanayeti samarpayami. So whatever I have acquired through doing this puja is, I'm offering it back to you. Nothing is mine. In BPA we say Devanatha Guru Swamin Deshikat Swatmanayaka. So system is beautiful. So if you don't read the first part, if you don't read the overall system and you just look at those 2 lines and form your judgment, conclusions, then you are doing a great disservice to yourself and to people who you will be telling about what you have learned and what you know. And if you don't have faith in this system, I've seen people who will listen to all these things. They'll come and say, please, you teach me this, you teach me that. I want to learn this, I want to learn that. Moment you start talking, afterward, they'll go and say, these are all convenient interpretation by men. And it's so ironic today that the Chief Justice of India is saying in the Supreme Court hearing that you can't decide the whether the person is a male or a female just by the genitals. Very ironic. So it is time for you to stop, pause, and ask questions on some of the basic assumptions with which you have lived your life. It is essential for you to be ready or be in a position to receive further knowledge. Make sense? So I will stop with this mantra today. Otherwise, it will become an overdose. Let me pause the